With everything going on, AI, global conflicts, new tariffs, the economy can feel, well, pretty uncertain. But what if all this chaos is actually a good thing for investors? According to a recent breakdown from Minority Mindset, we might be looking at some of the biggest opportunities we've seen in years. So today, we're going to dive into their framework for navigating 2026.
And really, this is the core idea right here. Their whole argument is that the fear and the volatility, the very things that make most people want to just run for the hills, are exactly what smart investors should be looking for. It's a really powerful way to reframe what's happening in the world right now.
So here's what we're going to do. In this explainer, we're going to break down the 5 key opportunities that Minority Mindset lays out. We'll start with these huge, broad market shifts and work our way all the way down to a very personal and maybe the most important investment you can make. Okay, so first things first, we have to understand the landscape. The way they see it, there are several major economic pressures all coming together at once, creating this perfect storm of volatility that we need to figure out how to navigate. And these are the 3 big pillars they say are driving all the turmoil. You've got AI's insane impact on the job market, then a major oil price shock coming from geopolitical conflicts, and on top of that, a whole new wave of global tariffs messing with trade. Now, any one of these would be a big deal on its own, right? But put them together, and you get this massive domino effect with huge implications for all of us. So where's the opportunity in all this craziness? Well, the first one they talk about is something they call the shift. And it's this fascinating chain reaction where one huge change kicks off the next, kind of like a line of dominoes just waiting to fall. And this just lays it out so clearly. It all kicks off with the crazy growth in AI. That AI needs a ton of energy, which leads us straight to domino number 2. This huge energy demand is happening right as oil prices are spiking because of global conflict. And that same conflict, it also created a helium scarcity, and you need helium to make the semiconductor chips that power AI. It all comes full circle, right? And the final domino is this new intense focus on national security, everything from who controls resources to cybersecurity. You see how it's all tangled together? So then they translate each of these dominoes into potential investment ideas. You can see things pop up like AI and robotics ETFs, nuclear energy, oil funds, even cybersecurity funds. Now, it's really important to echo their disclaimer here. This is not financial advice, okay? It's a way to get you thinking like an investor, to see how these huge global trends can point you towards specific sectors. All right, this brings us to the second major opportunity, and it really gets to the heart of their investment philosophy. When the market feels pain, that's exactly when you should be paying attention. And they've got this, well, pretty memorable acronym for it, the POOP principle. It's a cycle that's all about human psychology. Widespread panic kicks in, our herd mentality takes over, and that leads to mass overselling as everybody rushes for the exits. But that moment, that is what creates the opportunity. For anyone who can step back from the emotion and think logically, that's where potential profit is hiding. And this is not some new, crazy idea. They point right back to history. We saw this exact cycle play out during the dot-com bust, the 2008 housing crisis, the 2020 pandemic crash, and then again in the 2022 correction. Every single time, the panic created these incredible buying opportunities for people who had a long-term mindset. So how do you actually do this? The strategy they propose is super simple. ABB. Always be buying. This isn't about trying to perfectly time the bottom of the market. It's about consistently investing, especially when prices are down and everything's on sale. And probably the easiest way to do this, as they point out, is by just buying the whole economy through broad market ETFs. I mean, whether it's the total market with something like VTI, the 500 biggest companies with SPY, a tech-heavy fund like QQQ, or one that focuses on dividends like SCHD, the main idea is you're betting on the long-term growth of the economy as a whole. Okay, for the next 2 opportunities, we're going to switch gears a little bit, away from the stock market and over to hard assets, things you can actually see and touch. We're talking about gold and real estate. And they make a really important distinction here that I think is key. Gold is treated as a kind of insurance. It's a hedge against fear, a store of value for those worst-case doomsday scenarios. Real estate, on the other hand, is an investment in the classic sense. It's meant to generate cash flow month after month. And just to put the whole gold thing into perspective, they make it clear that for them, it is not a speculative trade. They're not watching the price every single day. It's just a small 2% slice of their portfolio held for long-term protection. That's it. Now, with rental properties, the real power, they say, comes down to 3 things: that consistent cash flow, owning a tangible asset,
And, this is a big one, the massive tax benefits. As they point out, the tax code gives huge advantages to real estate investors, like depreciation, which can seriously lower your tax bill.
And that brings us to the final, and honestly, probably the most powerful investment opportunity of them all. It's not a stock, it's not a metal, it's not a building, it's you.
Look, the argument they're making here is super urgent. AI is changing the entire game. It's turning basic knowledge into a commodity, something anyone can get in a second. That means your ability to think critically is becoming your ultimate competitive advantage. They even talk about how their own company had to completely pivot to become an AI-forward tech company just to stay alive. The premium isn't on what you know anymore. It's on how you think and how you can leverage these new tools.
So how do you even start with something that big? What they suggest is actually a surprisingly small and manageable commitment. Just 30 minutes. That's it. 30 minutes a day dedicated to learning how to use these powerful AI tools. See, the idea is that AI can't turn a B-level performer into an A-level one, but it can turn an A-level performer, someone who already knows how to think critically and use the tool right, into an A-plus performer. Which really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. As technology keeps accelerating and the markets keep shifting, maybe the ultimate hedge against all this uncertainty and the greatest vehicle for opportunity isn't an asset you can buy, but the knowledge you can build inside your own head. Thanks for watching.